Hey there guys, I just made this mesh, probably in the last few hours, and it's going to go over me weighting it and merging it into the body. I did a full separate video on like fitting and merging. Feel free to check that out. This is going to be much more focused on weighting. I'll do a transfer of weights, and then I'll go in and show you some tricks in fixing and adjusting weights. First thing you want to do before merging it, Blender likes to ruin everything that you do. For simplicity, come over to the materials. It's this sphere, and feel free to name the material what you want. But the next one is actually this green triangle, object data properties. In here, this is where you'll find shape keys. The dress has none at the moment, but the most important one, I believe this already collapsed here, is UV maps. And you have to have this named as UV map. I've just imported this and it's named a map 1. If it's named map 1, it gets combined and essentially just deleted. Blender will just get rid of it and you won't be able to texture it. So you could do all this work, if you haven't named it UV map, you've wasted your time and you gotta do it again. So just literally name this UV map and you're done. You can forget about it. Next, I want to join this to the body. So clicking on my mesh and control clicking on the armature, and then control P is to parent it. When you're going through bones, you might have seen that in Unity. You have like the hip, and then you drop down, and then you've got like the spine drop down, then you've got the chest. Alright, everything that is below it is a child. And when we're saying that we're parenting this, we're essentially merging it into the body, and we want to do it with empty groups. I'll explain what the groups are later, but merge with empty groups. As you can see, it's now under where the body is. Even if I go start pose mode, and I were to twist this, I totally just showed something. I might have to edit that out. It's not weighted. It's not weighted just yet. We got to do something for that. And for that, we're just going on to this this object. And we're going to go down to this like wrench looking thing, modify properties. So we go add modifier and a data transfer. So this is saying we're going to copy from something. We're transferring one thing from another object. The source, you can just click on here, is the body. In my scene, I only have the body. If you have a whole heap of object, it's going to all come up. You want your the base, the skin, whatever it may be called. What we want to go down here is vertex data. We want to check that and also go into that, drop it down and do vertex groups. If I go into here, these are the vertex groups. So it's going for every single bone, but these are all empty. There's no information here. And when we hit accept on this data transfer, it's going to copy all of that information across. So you can go to this drop down and go apply. Now if I go into start pose mode and I give this like a twist, it's weighted. It's copied, although it can be extremely poorly, the weights from my base. If you're doing things which are skin tight, like bodysuits, sometimes shirts, pants, anything which is close to the body, this is a really, really quick and easy way to get really good results. As you can see, it's got some tearing on the absolute extremes, and this is when we get to play around. Now, I want to do something unique with this one. I'm going to do cloth dynamics. I spent a bit of time actually optimizing this mesh down, so it actually isn't that many polys. I could get it even lower, but I felt like this is a pretty reasonable amount. So I need to be going into here and editing away of weight data that we just transferred. Alright, go to CATS plugin and then go to start pose mode. What I'm doing here is I'm just rotating my mesh around and just seeing if there's any clipping, and we're just going to use that to see what we need to do later. Alright, so now that we know what we want to do, we're going to go into actually weight painting. The first thing I'll get you guys to do is go up to this edit up here, and mine's already off, but this is defaulted on. It'll look like this. Make sure lock object modes is turned off. It makes your life a lot easier. Now, we're actually going to go into start pose mode. We want to click on our mesh that we want to weight paint, and then we just go from object mode to weight paint. I'm in a textured viewport, so I'm going to do this. Weight painting in wireframe is much easier. If I go to this, it's harder to see. You can see it, but like it's more of a nuisance. You can really see all the information being weight painted in wireframe. It's just a lot easier. I'd recommend just doing everything in wireframe. The reason why I had you guys go into pose mode at the beginning of this is if you press Control and click on a bone, it lets you change. If I there we go, not hit something else. It lets you change what bone that you're currently working on. If you were to go straight into weight paint and not start pose mode, you will only be able to edit the one bone, and then you'll have to go out of weight paint, select the bone, and go back in. This just lets you jump between. As you can see, what we did earlier has already given us some pretty good weights, and it's easier to fix this and have a starting point. It's just, we're just going to make what we've already transferred even better. So what I like to set up is going into MMD tools. Tools, there we go. And make sure that this is all going to be your collapse for you guys. That with fall off, we want it to be set to projected, and then symmetry, advanced. Front faces only is turned off. So this is living a little dangerously, but essentially what we're going to be doing is every stroke that we do just lasers through the mesh. So if you're dealing with something that's like a sleeve that goes around the arm and you just want to do the entire arm in one segment, this lets you just paint everything. If you have front faces only, and I were to try and paint something here, it's not going to let you. So it is useful if you don't want to stop yourself from, say if I'm painting this edge here, I don't want to, if its front face is off, it's going to be painting it all. So it's completely up to you. I usually work with it off, and I just be careful. And there's a few little tricks you can do as well. So the first thing we need to do, for me, is we need to fix this shoulder. I don't like how this is affecting here. So on these left hand sides, there's no eraser. You can't, it's not like Photoshop where you got an eraser tool and you just click over it and it deletes it. You have to go to the draw, and under the draw settings, you have to set this weight to 0. Now this will act as an eraser. So I can come through here and be very broad and sort of remove these weights. Alright, here, be very broad, just remove all the weights. Plenty in the neck, head isn't getting any, easy. Another thing that I really like to do, let's actually click the bone, is if you come, yeah, this actually summarizes really well. Mine's a bit low poly. I tried to make it low poly. But when you do a transfer, it's a computer generated weight, and you can get some really, really like harsh transitions. Although it works, what's a really, really nice thing to do is just go through with the blur. This is the second tool here. Increase the brush size, and again, I like having it just laser through and just go through and just blow this. Doesn't have to be a lot. It just gets these transitions just looking a lot cleaner. And I might even fix up some of the clipping that we got. I'm dealing with a low, like I'm transferring from not a high poly, but a higher poly mesh down to a lower poly, so sometimes it doesn't transfer all too well, and just doing this just really cleans it up. See here? Oh, that's a perfect example right there. You see that? Just blend this out. Much better that looks. Now, I can fix up this bones on the butt. Now, I said that I would explain what vertex groups are. I'll do that now. Under this data here, if I were to change what bone I'm working on, say to the leg, it's going to swap. Every bone has a group, and what that is vertices that it is currently affected or affecting. So if I were to move this leg, I'm not in pose mode. Hypothetically, if I were to move this leg, everything in this group will move with the leg. Everything weighted to the leg will move. As I said, I want to actually not have this on the legs. I want to have this as cloth dynamics. So I'm going to remove these weights. Again, go to tool, I'm going to go to brush. The weight is set to 0. You can reduce this opacity if you want to just reduce something gradually or just slightly. So I can just keep brushing over this, or I can just set it to 100 and just go goodbye. Boom. I'm going to go through all of this. There's the twist bone. Just get rid of all of this. Make sure there's nothing there. Easy. So now the legs are sorted. It's been smoothed out. I'm going to smooth these out too. Voila. Oh, if you accidentally like select the body, just Control Z. That's what I've been doing. It's very, very easy just to accidentally click it. I'm just going to make sure that none of this has any information. Doesn't look like it. And now, I'm going to go back into CAS tools and then stop and start pose mode and get out of wireframe. You can see what exactly is going on. So we had issues on the twisting. Let me just get the texture in. It just looks much nicer. So on extremes, and I'm pretty sure this is because we just removed all the dynamics and all the dynamics, but the weights and the legs. On like harsh twisting, it rips. On harsh twisting, you can be really caught up in what I call extremities. So like clipping on extremities is okay. If I were to, so maybe here, this isn't okay. We gotta fix that. But clipping when it's like here is okay. No one's gonna twist their body at a 90-degree angle, right? And of course it's going to break. And if you spend so much time trying to fix, oh, this doesn't twist perfectly with the body, you're gonna be doing this for way too long. You just gotta get it to a suitable amount. I'm 90% sure it's because I removed all this information holding this down. When you weight like bones together. If I go back into here, object, weight paint. Also, your pose actually gets maintained through the weight, into weight painting mode when you do it through pose mode. So if you contort the body and you find something isn't working and it's easier to paint it or fix it while it's posed, you can go from pose, click on the object to weight paint mode, and it keeps its pose. It's super handy. Say here, I can see that these black lines is actually the underlying like body coming through. If I were to go to here, to the brush, go to tools again, need my brushes and brush settings. I'm going to turn up the weight, reduce the size, and I'm just going to, oh, I'm lasering through. Let's do front faces only. And that stronger. So I'm just gonna yellow this out. Reason being, this is probably affected if I go to the chest. Where's my chest right there? This is affecting it a little bit too strongly. Or the lack of the legs now having anything. Or the hips being too high up. So again, if I want to reduce this, how much this is affecting, I'm not really good. I'll teach you this on a smear. So this will only keep, this will not add existing data. This will not make it stronger. This is only going to move around what's already there. It's super helpful, especially when you're dealing with a little bit of some vertices which are out of view. So what this does is I'm just going to click here and I'm going to drag it down. And you can keep dragging this all the way down. If I click on this red and I drag it up, it only just smears what's already there. So I'm just going to just bring this down just a little bit. Because I want majority of this data, and see, I get this really harsh line. And I can just, what's smear? I can just blow this. Nice blow. I want this to mainly be affected by this bone. Like, that's why we're getting clipping. The torso, the spine bone is twisting, but the hips and the chest have too much control over the dress, and when it's like that disparity, it causes clipping. So I just want it to be controlled by this. You can already see I got a little bit of clipping here. Something like that you can actually fix in edit mode and just dragging the mesh out a little bit more. So I'm not too worried about that one per se, and it's mainly because I'm going to have cloth dynamics from this waist down. So if I go back into here, you can see that that is no longer being clipped. And now we go to the back, we do the exact same thing. We see that there's clipping here. So go to our draw tool, we're going to add weight. Again, I'm going to do front faces only so I'm not lasering through. I'm just going to I'm going to make it stronger here. Awesome. Still a little bit of clipping, but I think that's because, again, this has too much control over it. So I'm just going to smear this back up. Or maybe not. I'm going to blow this out. Is it because this has... Yeah. See, boom. I literally just did one little move and it fixed that clipping. The hips had too much control. Now, just blur it out. Nice and even. Alright. It's back. I think this is mainly due to what I just did. Yeah, see if I'm bringing the spine down, it's clipping more, so I need to bring the hips up here, I think. Yeah, like that. And then I can just blow that out to get a little bit nicer of a transition. Then we go back into the shaders, see what's going, boom, fixed. And it's a matter of doing that just across the entire mesh. So I'm just going to keep playing around. I'm probably going to speed this up here and just show you how I work. thought I deleted all the weights to the legs by moving this parent. As you can see, I definitely haven't. There is a bone there that has some sort of information, so I'm going to go back and fix that. This is a really good different point. When you Control Z, it undoes your settings from before, and I just told it to click front facing, so I thought it was on, and I'm trying to fix this, and I went straight through and pierced the back. The number one problem when people start off with weight painting is they try and weight something, but it turns out they're actually weighting something behind it, and you've just got like things tearing and stuff fleeing off everywhere. You just be careful and you take your time and you actively make sure that you're not weighting through meshes. It'll be okay. If they see it isn't all too hard, you can just go back through here like I just did before with the lower dress with a 0 weight brush and just go through and fix all this. But it's easier, just Control Z and then just make sure that front facing is turned on if you need it, and this is turned up, and then like go about your business. So I'm pretty happy where I believe this is. The next test to really test this out is take it into VR chat and don't actually like do an upload, set it to humanoid, put really rough like dynamics on it, don't worry about doing colliders, just put movement on the body and do an upload and just see where it clips. Don't put much effort into it, just do a test upload and see if there's any clipping. You know what you do? If there is clipping, you're right back here and you repeat these steps. From the looks of it, when I start pose mode, majority of the dangerous clipping is sorted. So this to this, only on extremities will it really start stretching, but I think I had to fix that, and again I'll demonstrate this. If I actually go into edit mode here, I do exactly what I did in my last video, is just fit it a little better. It's a little bit too tight to the body. I'm just going to go into proportional editing and drag this out. If you don't know what I'm doing, feel free to check my last video. So now when I go into pose mode and I twist this, there's more space between the body and the dress, so it has room to stretch further. So yeah, I can tell on the back here. Select some of these verts going down the back. Partial editing on. Just gonna bring it out a little bit. Nice and easy. Easy. Again, start pose mode. A lot of that really rough clipping from this hyperextension is fixed. See? It only takes to point doing here, we get a little bit of clipping in the back, which I'm completely okay with. Clipping on extremities is okay. Otherwise, you're gonna be doing this for 10 fucking years, so. Alright. I'm happy with that. If you enjoyed the video or you found it useful, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be making more of these. I do make them upon request. I've been getting a lot of requests to do a weight painting one. I just finished up doing the fitting one. That also had a lot of requests, so feel free to leave comments, feel free to message me. I have a Discord, which I'm a lot more active on Discord than anything. I do have an Instagram, I do have a Twitch, which I did stream on last night, so feel free to drop by and see if I'm live. I'm usually just working and taking it pretty chill. Yeah. Thanks for watching.